Okay, welcome to my studio. It's Miss Sue here. Okay, so we are going to make a referential to Basquiat piece of artwork. We're going to refer to his work. We're going to allow ourselves to be influenced by what he did. And I'm just like going for it. This could be hideous, but guess what? I don't care because that's what this is all about. So let me show you some of the supplies that I'm going to use. I'm going to try to have available in class. Most importantly, this white pencil, this white charcoal pencil, it makes nice white marks on the paper that we've already prepared. Also, we might want a darker pencil. I have some Sharpies, some oil pastels. I put out some acrylic paint, which I'll have available in class, and some brushes. I also like to scrape paint a little bit. I don't know if I'll use this, we'll see. Also, I have prepared, I have my sketchbook here because I'm gonna pull some things out of my sketchbook that I might wanna doodle onto this. And I have prepared some sheets that I will put up around the room that have all kinds of images that Jean-Michel Basquiat had in his painting. I don't care if you sort of copy what he did. I don't care if you want to make it all your own and make it more like you. The point is just to play. So the first thing I notice about a lot of his work, he has a lot of texture stuff going on in the background. That's why we prepared ahead of time these watercolor backgrounds, hoping that they look a little bit like spray paint. The first thing I notice, this is my darker area. I'm going to come in, because I kind of like when he did these lines for no reason. I'm going to come in with a straight edge right here and make myself lines on this part just for no reason. Just because I think they look cool. So I'm noticing they're not showing up as well as I'd like. That's okay. I'm still building some texture here. And since they're not showing up all that well, I think I just want to see what happens if I grab an oil pastel, make a line. Oh, much better. Make some lines with this too. I wish I had white. I don't have white. Okay, now I'm going to try making some lines with a Sharpie up here. See if they show up a little better. Yeah, definitely show up a little better. So now I'm just starting to make marks. It doesn't really matter what they end up looking like. I'm going to take a little bit of white paint and maybe I'm going to try to go over some of those lines so they show up a little better with white paint. I'm going to extend this one. Okay, so I've made a few little marks on the paper to sort of get myself going. Now, just because my white wasn't showing up that well, I think I'm going to use my regular ebony pencil, which I have a bunch in class. And I'm going to start to draw some images, background images. So when I went to Rome, I took a bunch of pictures of like this is my personal sketchbook, but like I saw pictures of like monks in churches. And also this was like Roman graffiti. They were supposed to be like little Roman soldiers. And I like the idea of combining them. So thinking about the trip that I took, I think I'm going to toss one of those little guys in here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time worrying about if this is a good drawing. I'm looking at the drawing that I did, but I'm not worrying about if it's perfect. You can look at images in our classroom that are in the folders, but the important thing is to draw them without thinking about them too much. So that doesn't show so well. Now I'm going to try to use this white again to go around those lines. This is really fun, I have to say. You just don't want to worry too much about what it is that you're making. You just make it. And I think I'm going to write, because this was Rome, I'm going to write Roma. I'm going to write it a few times. Roma, Roma. I think I'm going to write it up here, going off the paper. Why not? And I sort of like that double line, so I'm going to go around with this one too. Okay, I promise you, as you can see, am I thinking? No. Is this looking stupid? I don't care. It's all about enjoying myself, making marks, and trying to experience what another artist may have experienced. It's not about making something to impress people. It's just about being present. Like Alicia Keys says, I don't want to forget, the present is a gift. Okay, so also we might as well, let's do a little nod to this guy over here. So he kind of has this triangle hat, and I'm going to give him a Jean-Michel Basquiat kind of nose, some eyes, his beard, his hat. I'm going to go back with my white. This is fun. The great thing about doing this kind of work, you don't have to worry. If there's something that you don't like about what you did, you can always just cover over it. It doesn't even have to appear in the final piece. Okay, 1 second. I gotta sharpen this. So what I learned about this charcoal pencil is you have to sort of lay it on its side to get it to work. Okay, so now I've got a few things that I've written about Rome, and I'm going to look at my sketchbook. Is there anything else I want to do? Oh, okay, so this also came from the Vatican, some like old art, and I guess I've just been thinking about this kind of art a lot. So I'm going to draw a quickie version of these two heads together with absolutely no planning. He really liked halos, Jean-Michel Basquiat, and I'm a fan also of the halo. So I have this sort of religious figure here. I liked it because usually you see Mary holding the baby Jesus, and I'm like, who's this dude? Is this Joseph? I don't know, but that's why I took a picture of it in my photo, then I put it in my sketchbook later, because that's how I roll. Also, I really like these lines right here, so I'm going to give a nod to those lines. I wonder what happens if I just grab this red Sharpie and go around some of this. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I could do this all day. And since I have this red out here, I'm going to add some red down here too. Okay, like I said, this is just like a bunch of nothing right now, really, but it's fun. Let's give this guy a big white beard and some white eyebrows. That was this guy. Maybe we'll give him some stripes going this way. So we have a stripe theme. Okay, so now I have some background stuff. Let's see, what else have I got going on? Let me look in my phone at my pictures, see if anything. I'm sorry that you don't have your phone or your pictures, but you could look at the pictures that we have in class. I'm not going to trace anything because we want it to look kind of childlike. We want it to look, we don't want it to look perfect. So let's see. I'm going to find something. Oh, look, this is a picture from Rome right here. And I don't know what this says, but I do like the way those letters look. So I'm going to A, R, D, dot, B, O. Oh, there's some places where it doesn't want to take this pencil, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to do it anyway. Okay, let's see. I wonder if a crayon would work. I'm going to try this white crayon. O, N, S, I'm letting this run off my paper. It's even getting onto my table. No worries. I'm gonna get a black Sharpie. Okay, let's see. Let me sharpen this. I want to see, is there anything else that I want to include in the background? Because I feel like we could do something over here. Looking at my phone. Oh, here's a recipe I made. Let's see. Serves 12 ingredients. 4 pounds. Chuck. Oh my gosh, this was so good. I made this for a New Year's party that I had. Oh my gosh, it was so good. 2 tablespoons butter. 1 tablespoon Maldon salt. Okay, and I think I'm gonna take my, wonder if this pen will show it off. I'm just going right next to the letters that I just made. Chuck B. 2 tablespoons butter. 1 tablespoon. Okay, so you're probably thinking that this just looks crazy, which it's kind of supposed to look crazy. Like, this is the whole thing, like, but interestingly, because I was using my phone, it's sort of summing up what I did over the break. We have references to Rome. We have references to the recipe that I made for my New Year's party. So it ends up sort of being a little bit like a journal, if you will. All right, where did that white pencil go? Here it is. In the end, I like the way this white pencil looks. I'm going to color in the inside of the bee. Okay, so now I have all this texture on here. This is a little sad over here. He sometimes just did scribbling. What did I do over here that made this? Somehow this wants to resist. Not sure why. Okay, so now I just have this sort of scribbly background going on. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a Basquiat style person right here. And this is what I want you guys to do too. You're going to do some kind of texture, scribbling, whatever in the background, okay? You can then, if you wanted to like go over this, make some of it stand out more, like maybe I want my 2 tablespoons of butter. Maybe I'll add a little paint to that. Oh, also our paint pens are gonna look really, really good on this. I just don't have any. Wait, is that true? Yeah, that's true. I don't have any paint pens, but the paint pens are gonna look really good on this, I think. But I'm gonna pop out, I'm gonna paint some of this in, because why not? I'm gonna make this, have a little acrylic paint. This guy has a straight hat and his white beard. Okay, so I'm making a pretty nice mess here, and now what I'm going to do is, now that I have my background, I'm going to select a face shape. Here are the face shapes that will be up in the classroom for you guys to look at. I would like you to choose one. We're going to do some kind of a portrait. Let's see. I kind of like this one because it's like his mouth is open. So I'm going to set this over here where I can just sort of look at it. But I'm not going to worry about, is it perfect? And I think I'll start this. Let me make sure that paint is kind of dry. I'm going to start this over here because I feel like, yeah, I'm going to do this, this, okay, can you see how I made that? And then I'm going to get a little bit of paint. I'll do sort of a grayish color. I need a bigger paintbrush, but I'm gonna paint this out so that I can draw. Hold on, I need a bigger brush. Oh my gosh, sometimes I love a super cheap, stupid brush like this. I don't know. Because look how easy that is. Oh my gosh, love it. Sometimes I'll put down a chunk of paint like this, and then I'll grab an old credit card and make it like that. Oh geez, that's so much fun. Gosh, do I have big paintbrushes like this in the room? I don't know. I might have to bring some of my own. I'm not a snobby artist. I will work with super cheap things. Oh my gosh, I'm already loving it. Okay, so now it has to dry. I think I'm gonna grab my heat gun. Just because. I think I actually do. Okay, that was super satisfying. I do have a blow dryer in the room, so if we need to use it, we can. I think that's dry enough for me to keep drawing on top of it. Okay, so that's the head shape I chose. Now, let's look at eyes. You will notice in the room that I have put up a poster. These eyes were taken out of Jean-Michel Basquiat's work. So I'm just going to choose. These are pairs of eyes. Don't like these? Cool, do your own. I'm going to choose, let's see, I kind of, what do I want? I kind of like these two guys because I just like the way they look. So I'm going to do something like that. I'm setting it just out of the camera where I can see it. But I feel like I need to reverse it on my face. Which would be kind of challenging, but you know, I think I could do it. So I'm just going to do this. And then I'm going to put this one here, bigger. I'm telling you, once you do this, it's really fun. Like, I have to say, I get it. I get why he did this. Okay, so there's some eyes. I don't know. They're okay. Then I'm going to look at noses, which I also prepared. Let's see. These are some noses. I think I'm going to do this one, but I'm going to flip it because I think it'll work with my person. So, I don't know. We'll see. Oh! I think I'm just going to come down here. I kind of added some more stuff. Oh, no, it's pretty good. Okay, and then, oh, this mouth. Gosh, I wanted some kind of mouth in there. Here are some mouths that I saw. So let's see. Oh my gosh, that one's so cool. But my mouth is partially open. I kind of like those teeth. Ugh, so much to choose from. I think I'm going to go with this one. And it's going to be tricky because it's dark in there. I think I'm just going to put a few little teeth. I'm going to use paint to make this show up, but I'm drawing them in first. Then I'm going to grab my paintbrush. I always like to wear a paint shirt. This is why I use it like a rag, because I'm kind of gross that way. And he's going to have little teeth. Okay. All right, so I'm going to heat gun that again, let it dry. Okay. So I did mouth, I did eyes, I did nose. So now these are just like These are things that I noticed in his paintings. Like, I'm going to put this up in the classroom just in case you're like, I have zero idea. Fine. If you don't have any ideas, just borrow from the artist. You know, when you play some Mozart or something and you're learning on the piano, nobody says you're copying Mozart. You're learning. So we might be copying Basquiat, but we are learning. So I love this little chick. And I also really like this hand. Like, oh, that's really cool. Because lately I've been like bothered by some tingling in my fingers, which is annoying as an artist. So I think I'm going to do something about that because it kind of relates to what I'm going through right now. And I think what I'm going to do is, it's like I'm going to put that hand over here somehow. So I'm going to go right over the top of what I already drew. And I'm going to just see if this is the wrist. And then I'll do this. It's going to be this guy's hand. You know, art is the best. Like, it's so much fun. I don't know if you can see these lines very well, but I can see them, and it'll be okay because I'm going to paint. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my white paint and I'm going to paint that shape that I just made, and then I'll put my lines over the top of it. You could do this with a paint pen in class. I'm going to make it a little smaller. Make it a little bigger. Later, I'm probably going to come over this with some color, but for now, white is going to block everything else out. Here's his little shirt. And then I'm going to give him a neck over here. So what's great about all this texture that I put down underneath it is that as I'm painting this, I can still see the lines underneath coming through. That's why we like texture. Texture just adds interest. Even if I was doing a super realistic painting that would make you all so impressed, if I had texture underneath it, it would make that super realistic painting really pop. Okay, so now let me let that dry a little. So what else can I do? Let's see. I wish I had my paint pens here because that would be cool. I think I'm going to change the whole color of his face. You know what? I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to, in class, I will continue to work on this. I'm probably going to go over this and over this. Lots of different colors, lots of different layers of paint pen, but I want to be able to stop because I think acrylic paint pens are going to be really, really fun to work with. Although I am seeing things that I want to emphasize right now. Okay, see you in class. We are going to do this. It's going to be fun. Ciao.